halfway through as far as number of days, not amount of time. I would like Senator, we're going to call the meeting to order. I'd like Senator Summers to open us with a word of prayer, please.
Chairman, our kind and gracious Heavenly Father, as we come again to you today, we ask that you give us the guidance to do what's right and the wisdom to know what's right. We ask you to continue to bless the people in this room, great people of the great state of Georgia. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you very much. All right, we're going to switch around on the agenda just a little bit. Senator Harper's got Senate Bill 486. It's a very straightforward bill. I don't think anybody's here to speak for or against it that we see, so we're going to do it first because we think it'll be maybe quicker. You want to do it from your seat?
That's okay, right, Mr. Chairman.
9. Go ahead.
Senate Bill 486, which is LC 510075, simply deals with the Commodity Commission for propane. Last year, we passed a bill out of this committee, and Senator Anderson carried that bill dealing with the commodity commissions. The reason for this bill is the Propane Commodity Commission falls outside of the title that we changed last year, and this just simply provides the same changes we made for the commodity commissions to apply to the Propane Commodity Commission. That's the easiest way to explain it without diving off into the details. Mr. Chairman, I'd be happy to answer any questions if there are any.
Thank you, sir. Any questions for the author? This just puts the Propane Commission on par with the rest of our commodity commissions.
That's correct. In the administrative processes, that's correct. Yes,
Thank
sir.
you. All right, we've got a question or maybe a motion.
At the proper time, I'd like to make a motion to pass.
Okay. Hold on a minute. All right, it's the proper time.
At this time, I make a motion to pass.
All right, got a motion from Senator Anderson. Y'all got that? Second. All right, any further discussion? All in favor, please raise your hand. Looks like it's unanimous. All right, good luck in rules, Chairman Harper. Hope you have a good relationship with the rules chairman. You've been kind of on thin ice, it seems like to me, but with Chairman Tiffany. Okay, now let's go ahead and do the Seed Commission appointment. I'm going to turn it over to Vice Chairman Anderson.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to recommend James Clements to remain on the seed, the Georgia Seed Development Commission appointment.
All righty.
He's already serving and doing a great job, and he's very knowledgeable in this field, and we need him to be there.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chairman. And there's a bio on Mr. Clemens in your file. If you want to, hopefully you've had a chance to peruse that. All right, are there any other nominations? All right, got a motion to close the nomination. Got a second from Senator Goodman. All right, and so we have a motion to approve the reappointment of Mr. James T. Clements, Jimmy Clements, to the Georgia Seed Commission. Any discussion? All those in favor, raise your hand. Want to do a motion?
I made the motion.
And I've got a second from Senator Summers. All right, good. Keep me straight. All right, all in favor? All right, he has reappointed unanimously. That's good. Now for my bill, and I'll turn the chairmanship over to Senator Anderson. This is Senate Bill 371, and we have a committee substitute that's in your file. Give me just a second to get organized, and I'll just go up there. And we do have we've had a hearing on this already. I've had numerous meetings with interested parties, both for and against. We've got some people here that want to testify, but we are going to take a vote on it today, okay? So I will turn it over to you. Yeah, that'd be great. The LC number.
Hold on, sir. I hadn't give you permission yet.
My apologies, Mr. Chairman.
That felt good. All right, Mr. Chairman, go right ahead.
Mr. Chairman and committee, thank you for allowing me to present Senate Bill 371. The LC number, because this is a little different than we had the hearing on, is LC 280485S. Senate bill, it was brought to my attention that Georgia is the only state in the nation that has a criminal prohibition against for-profit credit repair services. The other 49 allow this. The credit score, average and median credit scores for Georgians ranks very poorly compared to other states. I would contend that part of the reason is the lack of education with the public as to how they can get errors on their credit reports corrected, and the lack of services, especially outside of the metro area, to assist consumers with this kind of onerous process. And I felt like that if the other 49 states were allowing for-profit credit repair services and we are not, then we're an anomaly and kind of out of step with the country. And that might be a contributing factor as to why our credit scores are so low on average. The credit scores, as we talked about in the hearing, and I don't want to replow all that ground, but it impacts they can impact the insurance rates you pay, the interest rates you pay, whether or not you can rent a house or an apartment. They impact all kind of aspects of our daily lives. So having a favorable credit score is important. And my intention is to just offer another avenue for consumers in Georgia to be able to have their credit information be accurate and therefore hopefully improve the credit scores. That's my intent. Now, there's been more pushback against this than I would have thought. A lot of it is, or all of it, just about is from the nonprofit credit repair services, and I don't know exactly. Well, I don't want to attribute motives to that, but this would be competition for the nonprofits, but we wanted to be sure that we protected the consumer if we were going to open this up, and so we require the for-profits to post a bond with the Department of Banking and Finance, and you'll see that on lines 13 through 18. And we got some input from the Department of Banking and Finance how that needed to be worded. So if this bill were passed, the for-profits would have to post a $50,000 bond. We also tried to address a concern in line 31 and 32, making it very clear and specific that these credit repair services are not engaging in debt adjusting or debt settlement, as it's sometimes called. They're not negotiating negotiating down the debt. They're simply trying to help the consumer get their credit information corrected if it's wrong. And they in the original bill, all that in lines 20 through 30 are measures just to protect the consumer. They have to have a written contract. There's a buyer's right to challenge and dispute items on a credit report. It's a statement they're given about that. They can cancel the contract at any time with a 5-day notice, so they're not locked into any kind of long-term contract. So all of that is for the protection of the consumer. That's really all I have, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to defer any questions to after we hear the folks that want to speak for and against, if you don't mind. And I know we're on a tight time frame with other committees backing up later in this afternoon that people got to get to.
Okay, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
At this time, we're gonna have the people that signed up to speak on for or against the bill. We're gonna limit it to 3 minutes per person. Michelle Jones.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. This is not my usual workspace, so if there's any official protocol, I'm going to trust you all to just let me know about that.
State your name and what outfit you with, please, for the record.
Thank you. Yes, sir. My name is Michelle Sloan Jones. I'm with Money Management International. I joined the organization in 1997 when we were Consumer Credit Counseling Service of Greater Atlanta, which is how some of you may be a little more familiar with our organization. CCCS of Greater Atlanta was founded in Atlanta in 1964 and has been serving the state of Georgia ever since, and has grown to be a national service provider in the years since then. I'm here because I too have a very deep interest in the financial health of residents of Georgia. I'm a lifelong resident myself. I've worked in the nonprofit credit counseling financial education field for 25 years. Always here in Georgia. And one of the things that I understood was a bit of a question mark was about the availability of services to residents of Georgia. So that's something that I wanted to help address today. To my knowledge, I know of at least 4 nonprofit credit counseling organizations that are on the ground here in Georgia. In addition, there are 2 other national providers similar to mine who also provide service in the state. My organization alone has counseled over 84,000 consumers over just the past 5 years here in Georgia. Over 70% of the consumers that we've counseled have been outside of the Atlanta MSA. We provide service in person, over the telephone, and online. I'll tell you, even before the pandemic, 99% of the people who reached out to us for service got service over the telephone or online, even when we're in their community. And that's been a trend that we've been seeing increase over the past decade plus, right? What we see is typically people will Google, I need help with my credit score, I need help with my credit card debt, I need help with whatever type of consumer debt issue they're having. They'll see us pop up on the map and say, that's great, call our toll-free number, and then get service from us that way. Of the people that we served, we do long-term tracking on how they perform. One of the services that we offer is called a debt management plan. Everybody who comes to us for counseling receives counseling free of charge. There's no fee for our debt and budget counseling. We help them create a household budget. We review their credit with them. We address with them things that they can do to improve their credit worthiness. We educate them on how to correct problems or errors on their credit report. We have forms that are available to help them with that. We talk them through that process. All of that's free of charge. We also offer what's called a debt management plan, which helps people repay the legitimate debts that they owe. Through our organization services, the debts they pay 100% in full, so no creditor is ever denied full payment on their debts. These are typically repaid in less than 5 years. The creditors are voluntarily decreasing interest. And I just want to say that through that, just here in Georgia, people have repaid over $109 million through us in the past 5 years, and their credit score increased by almost 100 points. I say all that to say, we're available, we're very low cost, we're known to the community, we're trustworthy. Thank you for hearing me today.
Thank you. Liz.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. Good afternoon. I'm Liz Coyle, Executive Director of Georgia Watch. We're the statewide consumer advocacy organization, and I thank you for the opportunity to testify to you again on this bill today. I'd like to begin by saying that we have great respect for Chairman Walker and greatly appreciate his intention to help people improve their credit score. As a consumer organization, we share that desire. We do not agree, however, that this bill achieves the chair's noble objective and stand ready to work on a bill that does. For a little context about me, in 2018, I accepted an appointment to the Consumer Advisory Board of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau in the Trump administration, first under Acting Director Mick Mulvaney, and then under Director Kathy Kraninger. In 2019, Director Kraninger, under Director Kraninger, the Bureau filed a lawsuit that is active today, alleging that Progrection used deceptive acts and practices in violation of the law, and further used deceptive and abusive acts or practices in violation of the Telemarketing and Consumer Fraud Act. The suit also alleges that Progrection illegally billed its customers. Again, this lawsuit was filed in 2019 under Director Kraninger and is still actively being heard in court, with the Cfpb still seeking action against not only Progrection, but the other leading credit repair organization in the country. We understand and respect that this company is innocent until proven guilty, absolutely. We are also concerned that these are serious charges. As such, we urge the committee today to delay action on this bill until this lawsuit is resolved, so that we can protect Georgians from potential abuse until the alleged charges brought under the Trump administration are resolved. Thank you.
Thank you. Andre. Short suit there you got, sir.
Well, good afternoon to the committee. I'm Pastor Andre Chappell. I pastor our parent church is Faith Church Los Angeles. We have 2 plants here in Georgia, in the Camp Creek area, one down in the Columbus area, that we plan to do starting off doing some pretty good work in. I came to just kind of give testimony that my church and we've been really aggressive about working with the urban community that are the underbanked, the underserved, the underexposed. And over the last 5 months, we've been able to impact the lives of over 1,100 people that we give record for. Seeing their credit, their finances, everything shift from 60 up to over like 120 points within 3 months. And I partnered with Progrection for a couple reasons. One, because I know that they're specialists. They're a for-profit, but they just do credit repair. And a lot of times, when I try to work with other nonprofits and work together, they're spread thin with a lot of different other duties that they do. And so they're not just as aggressive with helping people relative to their credit. They're stretched doing a whole lot of other things. Nonprofits, I think that it'd be good to not just have nonprofits. Of course, they're doing their work, they're doing their part. Hearing the testimony of the young lady earlier was commendable, but it's not saying get rid of the nonprofits, but let's help the nonprofits with the for-profit. If we look at it in many other ways, nonprofits do a lot of other things that a lot of other for-profits do, but they don't just, throw the baby out with the bathwater. And so I think it'll be really good, especially for the community that I'm excited about serving in Georgia. And looking forward to being a peach here in another 6 months. But I would really like to be able to help and utilize the tools that I've been able to work with the partnership I have with Progrection.
Thank you. Christine.
Well, not quite, but we're getting there. Thank you, Mr. Chair. My name is Christian Caballero. I'm the Vice President of Public Affairs for Progression. And thank you, Senator Walker, for sponsoring the bill and for all the co-sponsors on the committee as well. Thank you, Senator Jackson and Rahman, for our meetings yesterday. We really enjoyed our time with you. I'm so glad that the previous speakers mentioned some of the items they did. I was hoping they would, and they did. The Cfpb litigation is a wonderful example of government overreach. The investigation started in 2014 of our company. Never once has the CFPB sought injunctive relief to stop us from our practice. So here we are 8 years later, and the federal government, because their legal fees are paid by taxpayers, are in no hurry to resolve this case. We're trying to resolve the case. They're in no rush. Had they really thought we were hurting consumers, they would have sought injunctive relief to stop us from operating. Clearly, they're not committed to that cause. The other issue that was brought up was debt consolidation. We believe that if you are in the business of debt consolidation and credit repair, you have a conflict of interest. We are strictly here to help consumers, and we're only accountable to consumers that hire us to help them get better credit reports. If you're in debt consolidation, you are then advocating for banks, creditors, credit cards, and sometimes against the actual consumer that you're saying you're advocating for. So that's why we're so singularly focused on one thing, the consumer that comes to us with help. Fundamentally, this bill is one thing. This bill is about one issue, and the issue is simple. Should Georgians have the right to decide for themselves who represents them, whether they pay them or not? I mean, I think Georgians are smart enough to make their own decisions. I don't think a law saying this avenue is completely foreclosed for you, you can't avail yourself, you can't hire somebody, is a law that makes a lot of sense. And also, credit repair is being done in Georgia right now illegally. I'm guessing it's not, the laws are not getting enforced. We brought this bill because we want to be accountable. We're willing to put up surety bond money in case we do something wrong. We can get sued and the money is there to pay them. And we want Georgia to have a legal process for this service. We serve about 1.7 million consumers every year. Our success rate is over 50%. FTC statistics show that 1 in 5 Americans have something wrong with their credit report. 1 in 5. That's about 50 million Americans. And you know when they find out? When they go buy their car, go buy their house, and they can't. Or when they can, they're paying 22% versus the person that has no problems with their credit who's paying 6 or 5%. And what communities are impacted most? The ones that need it the least. So what we'd like to do is open this up so that people can choose for themselves. Hey, I need help. I want to call who I want to call. We're not discouraging nonprofits. Nonprofits play an important role. But why can't a grown person decide for themselves whether they get to hire a credit repair company? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir. That's it.
Come give us your closing remarks. To the chairman. We'll have questions for the chairman. Anybody got a question?
Just one clarification, Mr. Chairman.
What number?
Yes.
What number you?
Number 2. On line 10, paragraph C, credit repair service organizations also does not include any credit repair services organization defined that complies with the following. Please explain word not.
Mr. Chairman, I don't have that code section with me. Somebody from the audience.
Yeah, maybe so. Just clarification.
You want to have some backup?
Yes.
Grab that seat. Grab that seat.
Yeah, sure.
Senator Byrd, that's a good question.
Hold on, sir, please. Hold on, sir. State your name.
I don't know who he is.
Arthur Brandon Edge the Fourth,
All right.
with Georgia Link representing Progression.
Go ahead.
May I proceed?
Yes, sir.
He's tough.
Yes.
No, Senator Byrd, that's a good question because it seems like a negative. And
Right.
That's because the way the law is drawn, it says a credit repair service cannot operate in Georgia, and they give some exceptions. And the way we draw the bill, we come under those exceptions so that we're not one of those outlawed credit repair services if we do the following things: the right to cancel the contract being in writing, that sort of thing. It's just, we had to be drawn this way because of the way underlying law is written.
Thank you. I appreciate the information.
Thank you.
Just
Senator Jackson.
stay there for a second.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Mr. Chairman. I want to begin just by thanking you all for taking time to really meet with us and to try to help me understand your point of view. I think my major question is that the accusations that are placed in this lawsuit are substantial and could have major impact on people who are harmed in this way. And so I'm just curious, from your standpoint, why are we in a rush to do this as opposed to waiting until that lawsuit is settled?
The company that Mr. Edge represents, that we've heard testimony from, is not the only company. I mean, this bill isn't for only projection. I see it for the consumer. And I think this is becoming an increasingly, in our society and the way business operates, an increasingly important issue, and I think it's time to address it. I don't know the details of the lawsuit. Sounds like it's lingered a long time, but I don't think that is reason to deny Georgia consumers the choice of who they might want to use to help them with their credit repair.
May I ask another question?
Yeah.
So, Senator Walker, what makes you believe that Georgians aren't able to access the nonprofits that we currently have in the state?
Well, one thing, and it's just sort of anecdotally, I guess it's not really scientifically tied, but the fact that our average credit scores are so low relative to other states. And where I live, and until I got involved in this, I was not aware of any of the nonprofits. And I feel like I believe in free enterprise, and I believe the profit motive is a good thing. And this company's got the progression folks have a lot of success and experience, and I don't know where the funding comes from for CCS of Greater Atlanta. I think it sounds like they're doing great work, but for all I know, the Bank of America and Chase and all that is funding them. I don't really know or Equifax might be funding them. I don't know who's funding them. She says there's no charge for the service, which is really nice, but I know that there's no free lunch. Somebody's paying for it. Maybe it's government grants. I don't know, but I think Georgians deserve a choice on this.
Another question.
Yes,
Sure.
ma'am.
So the reality is every legislator sitting up here receives funding from any number of sources, and that does not make us inherently beholden to them. I have received campaign funds from a lot of places, as I know you have as well. And so I just want to go on record in stating that that's important. But I guess my last question to you is, I came earlier with grave concerns about the ways in which credit repair companies have been exploitative, particularly to people who are already kind of over the barrel, right? So they go buy a car and they find out that their credit is bad, and so they want to fix that really fast so that they can get a car, so they can get a job or go to work or whatever. And so I have yet to hear any real explanation as to how we do this in a way that doesn't exploit people who are already in trouble. So can you respond to that?
Well, they are not obligated to any kind of long-term contract. All the fees and everything they're going to have to pay is fully disclosed up front. I mean, they can make their choice, and if they're not satisfied with the results or the services, they can cancel within 5 days. I mean, I just don't see how you could really exploit anybody with that kind of setup. It just seems like a lot of consumer protection built into it. And I don't mean to pick on CCS of Greater Atlanta, and I did not mean to imply that. I'm just know somebody's paying for it. I don't know who. She could tell us, but 84,000 people. That's great. And she said there were 4 nonprofits on the ground in the metro area, and then 2 others. Well, we're a state of 11 million people. Lots more than that have issues with their credit reports, and I just felt like the more kind of players in the game, and the more access consumers would have to it. Again, I did not anticipate all this. To me, it seemed like a straightforward, simple concept. There's a lot of stuff we don't outlaw that is a lot more predatory than this. COAM machines is a pet peeve of mine. They're very predatory on people who can least afford it, in my opinion. Casino gaming, I think, is predatory. I think I could go on with examples. It just seems odd to me that we don't allow the free market to work in this area.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I hope that
Antiquated kind of.
I hope that you and I can work together to deal with some of these other predatory industries that you and I agree with.
Thank you.
All right, Senator Roman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for bringing up this bill. This is a great bill, but I'm not sure this is going to solve the problem, especially when you talk about the rural area. Anytime the big company comes in Georgia, whatever it is, most of the time it's the metro area, and it doesn't matter what happened in rural Georgia, because we have a lot of concern in rural Georgia, not only credit repair. I'm not sure really this is going to solve the problem that we have in rural Georgia. We have a lot of problems in rural Georgia in terms of healthcare and opportunity, a lot of things, you can go on and on. And one of the things I'm a little concerned about from one of the testimony that I heard, that this lawsuit been lingering for a long time, from 14, and then again, another testimony that I heard, the lawsuit been filed only 2019, if I'm correct. So I think it's not long enough for a couple of years. Lawsuit, it takes a long time to resolve. So I think we need to put in probably hold for this, instead of rushing it. That's my suggestion.
Right. Thank you.
We don't do this one. Let's do the research, and I'd love to work with it and help people all over Georgia, not only make
Thank you. Thank you, Senator.
All right, at this time, you got any closing comments? Or do you?
This is, as we all know how this process works, and this is just really the first step in kind of a long journey for a bill. There'll be other opportunities if you all have ideas of how we can improve it. I'm certainly open to hearing those suggestions, but I would ask the committee to please favorably consider the bill and give me a do pass vote and let it keep moving through the process.
Okay. Hearing that, do we have a motion on the bill? We have a motion. Do we have a second? Got a second. Summers and Senator Goodman second. All right. At this time, we'll vote. All in favor, raise your right hand. All right. All opposed, raise your right hand. It carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, committee. All right. That concludes everything we have on our agenda today. I do want to make the committee aware, if I can get your attention, we do have some interesting topics that you may want to start following that will be coming to us from the House, I feel like, possibly. The Freedom to Farm Act is being worked on in the Ag Committee in the House. A bill called Right to Repair. You may want to turn your attention to that. And then there's a raw milk bill, and there may be others. So you may want to start watching that legislation as it moves through over there on the House, so we'll be ready when we get it here. But hope you all have a wonderful weekend and get back to your families and your businesses, and we'll see you all back here Monday afternoon for another committee meeting. Thank you very much. The meeting's adjourned.